live. Welcome, hello, and welcome to Pablo Taras, the one guy watching live. Hello, welcome to everyone. My name is Terry McGonigal. I'm an English teacher from Ireland, and I in this is my channel English for IT professionals, where it is a space dedicated to English lessons for IT professionals. I see Pablo Taras is a software developer front and back. Okay, so I am very happy, very excited to be here because I have a new series of lessons which are going to be dedicated to IT job interviews. I've started to look a lot at what kinds of questions they ask you. What are the questions you guys don't like? What are the questions that you hate? What are you not prepared for? And I have an extremely exciting new idea. So let's just start with the slides because I could stay here talking all day. 1 second. At the stage, we go here. All right. So again, welcome again, Pablo. Where are you from, Pablo, if you don't mind the curiosity? Okay, so the topic today is preparing for skill or knowledge questions that are at the start of the interview. So if you imagine that you are a software developer, front and back end, and you go to an interview and it's an Angular or backend or whatever, and they ask you just basic questions. What do you understand about Angular? What do you understand about microservices? What can you explain the basic definition? Because of all the different interviews that we have a screening call, technical phone screen. We have a lot of different interviews, but we're really looking at the technical phone screen interview and the on-site interview. Oh, you're from Ukraine. Oh, very good. And so basically, at the start of this interview, where you will have an interview with a senior software developer usually, and they start asking you just questions at the beginning where they just want to check, do you really understand these basic concepts, right? So these are the questions we're focusing on now. Now, in the next 6 months, I plan to focus extensively on job interviews. I have a lot of new ideas. If you have a suggestion for a video, please leave a comment. Please take a moment to click like. It really helps me reach new people. But anyway, okay. So these are some examples. These are some examples of the kind of questions we're going to see today in today's live. Can you define object-oriented programming? All right. Define the term microservices architecture. What is meant by responsive design? So again, it's the first 5 minutes or 5-10 minutes with the interview with a senior developer where they want to check what do you understand and what do you know. Now, in this lesson, especially today, I want to look at 3 different basic categories of this kind of question. And the other thing I want to do is, because I know that you guys, as software developers, you learn algorithm structures or you learn basic data structures. My goal or my dream for this class is to show you basic sentence structures for this kind of question that you can easily substitute and easily replace and quickly build your answers. The dream or the objective at the end of this lesson is that I will show you that you will be completely prepared for this kind of question, or you'll be ready to build your own answers for this kind of question. All right, so give me a quick. I get nervous when it's live. Sorry about that. Okay, well, please give me feedback, especially about the structures. What can be better for my next sprint? Because I need to do a sprint, retrospective, and then check, yeah? Okay, this is the first kind of question where they will say define and the concept. Can you explain and the concept? Define microservices, define agile methodology, etc., right? And these are some examples of the kind of question I'm talking about. And in the first minutes of the interview, explain the concept of DevOps. Explain the principle, define test-driven development. Can you define functional programming? And it's not easy to give a definition of something, even about a normal topic. It's not that easy, right? So let's look at 2 simple structures here. Now, if we look at the first one here, the concept of name And where you see name, you are going to substitute or replace your answer. So for you, Pablo, if you're front and back, then maybe you're talking about web development or maybe cloud services for your apps or whatever, right? So the concept of cloud server is fundamental to understanding name as because it allows the person to, right? Okay, let's see some examples because this is just some words on a page. The concept of objects and classes is fundamental to understanding object-oriented programming as it allows developers to encapsulate data and functionality. So now, if you can see how I built the answer, you start with here, the concept of whatever, what it could be a lot of different things, right? So for example, the concept of microservices architecture, the concept of cloud computing. But this is the idea here of the concept of, and you substitute is fundamental to understanding OOP. Now, if you look here, there's the word as and because. They're very similar. In this case here, you can say as or because. It's really just giving like, oh, this is the basic progression or whatever, because it allows or lets. Now, if we look carefully at the next part, you can use this in your sentence as it allows developers to, and the verb, it allows developers to encapsulate data. But if you use the verb let, it's different. Look, because it lets developers encapsulate data. So you can allow developer to encapsulate data, but let developers encapsulate data. Because you can see here it's incorrect. It lets developers to encapsulate. This, in this case, it would be incorrect. Okay. So allow developers to encapsulate, encapsulating, let teams collaborate. So if you use the verb allow or let in your answer, it can be a little different what comes next. Okay. So next one here, the second example of this kind of structure. The concept of name is fundamental to understanding name as or because it allows. Okay. The concept of DevOps is fundamental to understanding modern software development and operations as it allows teams to collaborate more effectively and to automate processes. Okay. Now, if we look here at the next part as one of the possible grammar mistakes you will have when building your answer is here. The concept of DevOps is fundamental to understanding, ing. The basic rule in English is that if you have a preposition in, at, for, to, and you have a verb next, it will be ing. Okay, it will be sort of the concept of DevOps is fundamental to understand modern software. This is a very direct translation, and there's a lot of languages. The languages I speak, like French, Spanish, Portuguese, it would just be the one word. But in English, it must be the ing, and that's a very, very, very common mistake. Okay. Now, one more example of this: the concept of delivering applications over the internet as a service is fundamental to understanding software as a service, SaaS, as it allows users to connect to and use cloud-based apps over the internet without the complexity of installation and maintenance. So that's our first structure that we look at how to build a basic answer. So again, if you're using allow, permit, or let, if you're using allow, you must use the word to. Allows user to connect, not to connecting. Or if you use permit, it's the same as allow. Permits organization to streamline, not to streamline. Okay. Okay, so that was the first structure out of a total of 6 today. Right. The next one here is the next basic structure is the name or the concept plays a crucial or important role in the concept by providing which is essential for. So you have almost like 3 parts. Plays a crucial role by providing which is essential for. So again, it's taking little pieces to build your answer piece by piece, okay? Now, it's important to look here that when you use the expression play a role, play a crucial role, play an important role, if the idea is singular, for example, machine learning plays a crucial role, but machine learning is singular. So you cannot say machine learning play. You cannot forget the S. But then, for example, RESTful APIs, that's plural. So if you're going to use that expression, then you need RESTful APIs play a crucial role. Okay. So again, RESTful APIs is plural, play. If it's like TDD, test-driven development, plays, because that's a singular concept. Machine learning plays, singular concept, right? So RESTful APIs play a crucial role in web development by providing a standard way to communicate between client and server, which is essential for creating scalable, maintainable web applications. Careful with the pronunciation of scalable, because you will have to scale, but scalable is the soft syllable. Scalable, okay, and maintainable. But if you look here now at the answer here, sorry, it's a repeated slide. My apologies, right? So the next one here is test-driven development plays a crucial role in software engineering by providing a methodology where tests are written before code, which is essential for ensuring software quality and reducing bugs from the early stages of development. So again, it's just taking your answers and substituting kind of quickly, all right? Now, let's look here side by side at 3 possible grammar mistakes you can have when building your answer. Test-driven development plays with the S, okay? Can you see the error? Test-driven development play. No, very common error, but careful. Next one is software engineering by providing. So again, is that basic rule is like fundamental to understanding. If you have a preposition like by providing, it must be with the ing. It's a gerund. In English is important, but if you look at the mistake, by provide a methodology, no, not there. And the next thing again, which is essential for, and then the verb and ing, which is essential for ensuring. To ensure is a verb you see a lot in IT. I see it all the time in when I watch YouTube videos, when I read books about IT out there. To ensure, to make sure, important verb. Okay, so look again when you have which is essential for ensuring, essential for creating, which is essential for creating scalable, right? Just look again that in your language, I'm talking to you, Pavlo, from Ukraine, and again in the majority of languages, I'm pretty sure in Ukrainian, you will not need to put this in the gerund and the ing. It probably doesn't exist. But in English, it's a strange but important rule, right? So the next one here about the same structure, machine learning plays a crucial role in the advancement of artificial intelligence by providing algorithms that can learn from and make predictions on data, which is essential for developing intelligent systems that improve automatically through experience. Okay. Sorry, I need a little drink. Okay. So the second kind of skill verification question, which is extremely similar, I'm just looking at small differences, because I saw one idea was just asking like, what is agile methodology or what is DevOps? But a very common question is, what do you understand by, right? What do you understand by continuous integration? What do you understand by responsive design? What do you understand by data science? Okay. Now, this is where we're going to look at, sorry, 1 second. I messed up my slides. It's okay. Is it working? It's okay. So these are examples of questions of ideas that I had, right? So two basic structures to help you answer these kind of questions, because I don't have any. Yeah. So name is key or essential or important for professionals in the field. So field can be DevOps, front end development, back end development. When you're being a bit more specific, right? Because it helps them verb more efficiently. Now, this first structure is actually quite short. It's quite short sentence. I think it would be a good structure that would start maybe another longer answer. Okay, and then the second structure is the idea of like concept, the name, like DevOps or cloud-based web development, really changes the field industry through key impact. It solves a challenge and a problem with a solution approach, which is key for. So let's see some examples of these structures. Now, name is key or essential or important for professionals in the field because it helps them verb more. The last word here, efficiently. So it's an important word to talk about. It's very important to be efficient. To be efficient means to be working well. It means it's effective. It's working. It's like 100% perfect. Like it's a good system, right? But the pronunciation is efficient or efficiently. Efficiently. Okay. Now let's see an answer. Continuous deployment is key for professionals in software development because it helps them release updates more efficiently. So again, just building that simple structure. Continuous deployment is key for professionals in software development because it helps them release updates more efficiently. Now, when we look at the second part, because it helps them release updates more efficiently. Let's look at a couple of small problems that can happen. Now, one of the first one is because helps them is forgetting to use the word it, because it refers to the thing, the situation, the advantage, right? That's the first one. Second problem is because it helped them, forgetting that if it uses the it will have the third person s. It helps them, right? Now, it helps them to release updates. This is also possible. You can say it helps them release, or you can say it helps them to release. It's more common to say it helps them release, but it is possible. It's not correct to say it helps them releasing updates, or it helps them to releasing updates. And then final mistake was it helps they release updates. So that's, you need to be careful with they and them pronouns. All right, that's something you need to be very careful with. All right. Okay, so again, one more example. Scalability is essential for professionals in web development because it helps them manage traffic more efficiently. All right, so it's nice and simple. Scalability is essential for professionals in web development because it helps them manage traffic. Now, again, we can say it is possible it helps them to manage traffic. That's not a problem, but it's more common to say it helps them manage traffic. Okay, responsive design is key for professionals in web design because it helps them create flexible layouts more efficiently. So again, it's a nice, simple, short structure, I think. Let's look at the next one. Concept really changes field industry through key impact. It solves the challenge of the problem with a solution approach, which is key for. Now, this is much longer and much more complicated, so let's see some examples. Agile methodology really changes software development through its iterative approach. So careful with the pronunciation. Iterative approach. It solves the challenge of inflexibility with a solution that accepts change, which is key for meeting customer needs more efficiently. Okay. Now, depends if you agree or not about, is the agile methodology really, does it really solve the challenge of inflexibility? But this is a good structure, a good idea that if someone asks you, what do you understand by the agile methodology? This is a way for you to build an answer, okay? Especially if you have a lower intermediate level of English. Continuous integration really changes software development through faster integration. It solves the challenge of code conflicts with automated testing and merging, which is key for speeding up development cycles. Okay, so let's see this second. So the one or two things here. Now, when you look here, continuous integration really changes software development through faster integration. Now, you can see the writing is THROUGH, but really the pronunciation is through, because you have the verb to throw, like throw a ball. The past is through, and that's really how you pronounce through faster integration. Now, again, we could say it solves the challenge of code conflicts, it fixes the problem of code conflicts, or it deals with the issue of code conflicts. There are a lot of small variations in building the structure, right? But the main number thing is don't forget the S. If you are describing it solves, it's not correct to say it solve or it fix or it deal, okay? It's always to remember that it solves with the S in the affirmative, in the positive sentence. It doesn't solve the challenge of code conflicts, and then does it solve? Because in the negative and in the question, there's no S, okay? Now again, it solves the challenge of code conflicts. It doesn't solve the challenge, or does it solve? All right, kind of repeating myself a little bit here. So again, let's see another example. Data science really changes the business and technology sectors through actionable insights. Actionable insights. Insights is information or new information or essential information. And actionable is the idea that this is information that lets us do something. If something is actionable, it means that, oh, great, we can do something with this information, right? It solves the challenge of big data management with analytics and machine learning, which is key for making informed decisions. Now, if we look at the final part, again, if you have four, no, we could use a different word for key. We could use important, essential, critical in this case. But again, if you have for and the verb, it was for making informed decisions, but not for make or for to make. They're both completely incorrect. And they're very normal grammar problems because the problem is usually you're translating directly from your first language into English. And that's where we have this little problem. But if you know about it, it's not such a problem, right? It's not easy, Pablo. It's hard work. Okay, so the third kind of question in this, because we have more lessons coming next week about the similar topic, all right? The third kind of skill verification question is a question like this. How does and the concept work, or how do and the concepts work? So it's all about plural and singular again, about how does with a singular, how do with a plural, okay? So for example, how does a relational database management system work? How does version control work? Describe how distributed computing works. These are all the same kind of questions that you will receive. You will get these questions in the first 5-10 minutes. When the senior developer in the interview wants to check, do you understand? Do you know what you need to know, basically, right? So let's look at two simple structures that will help you build an answer for these kind of questions. Name works by verb and ing, which enables name by allowing name. All right. And then the principle of name involves name, which is fundamental for name, facilitating name. All right. Now, the word name is the name of the concept or the idea. It could be relational databases, event-driven program, and that's what you will substitute into your answer. Okay. So again, if you have singular, you have machine learning works by, but it's not correct to say machine learning work by. RESTful APIs is a plural, so you must say RESTful APIs work by. All right. Okay, so one example here. The model view controller, MVC architecture, works by separating an application into three main logical components: the model, the view, and the controller, which enables efficient, so again, the pronunciation, efficient code organization and separation of concerns by allowing independent development, testing, and maintenance of each component. All right. So you have three fundamental sentences here: works by, which enables, by allowing. They're really almost like building an algorithm or building a structure where you just start to build your own answer. Okay. Now, again, if you have here MVC architecture works by separating. Now, I'm repeating a lot about how if you have a preposition and a verb, it must be an ing in English because it's very different to other languages. MVC architecture works by separate is incorrect. Works by to separate, also incorrect. All right. And just be careful then that if MVC architecture works by, don't forget the S, architecture work by, is incorrect, or working. They're just small little possible grammar mistakes, okay? Because WebSockets work by, plural, event-driven programming works by established, right? So again, event-driven programming works by executing code in response to specific events, which enables dynamic and interactive software applications by allowing decoupled code interactions between senders and receivers. So again, this is really almost like the three sentence: works by, which enables, by allowing. Because you probably know a lot about the concepts in your job interview, but it's just giving you the words and the sentence structures for you to build your answer, okay? Now let's look again side by side. Event-driven programming works by executing code. So again, if you forget the S, work by, it's incorrect. Which enables incorrect, and by allowing is incorrect, right? WebSockets work by establishing, ing, a persistent two-way communication channel between the client and the server, which enables real-time data transfer and communication by allowing the connection to remain open for the duration of the interaction. Okay, so again, this is a very simple structure, just three basic sentences like that. And this is our last structure of today's lesson. So the principle of involves name, which is fundamental for name, facilitating name. Now, the verb facilitate means to make possible, to make easy, or to make it just nice and easy and simple, right? The principle of a relational, let me start that again. The principle of a relational database management system involves storing data in tables that are related to each other through unique identifiers or keys, which is fundamental for efficient data. There's that word again, efficient data management and retrieval, facilitating complex queries and transactions. Now, again, if we look here at involves, so the principle of involves and name, well, really it should be a verb here, because my point is that if you have the word involves or includes, you need to put the verb with ing after. Involves storing data in tables. But to say involves storing or involves store is not correct in this case, right? The principle of load balancers and network traffic management involves distributing. So here involves distribute, that's incorrect. Incoming network traffic across multiple servers, which is fundamental for ensuring, with ing, no single server becomes overwhelmed by requests, facilitating high availability and reliability of applications. So in those two last words, availability and reliability. Listen to the vowel. Availability. Availability. Right? So that availability, reliability. All right? Which is fundamental for ensuring. So ensure is a verb you see again and again and again in IT. I see it every single day in my research, absolutely every day. But when you're building a sentence with this structure, which is fundamental for, you have a verb, it must be in the ing, right? Fundamental for ensuring, right? All right, so one more example. The principle of version control involves and managing with ing changes to project files over time, which is fundamental for tracking revisions and collaborations among multiple contributors, facilitating efficient project management and error correction. All right. Okay, that's the end of today's lesson. These were all the different structures that I have. Please subscribe, click like. Please tell a friend about this channel because word of mouth marketing is really one of the best ways. This is the first lesson in a long series now that I want to dedicate it to tech interviews. Next week, I'm going to talk about very similar questions, but not just describing one concept, but comparing two different features or two different concepts. Maybe in a job interview, they ask you, what is your experience of the different features between React and Angular or Linux and Windows operating systems, etc. I'm going to teach you how to answer job interview questions where they ask you to compare two different features, but in the similar stage or phase or part of the interview where it's at the absolute beginning. All right, Pablo, thank you so much for watching. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you all. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you all next week. Please comment a suggestion for a future video. All right.